Okay.
It's 6 o'clock, so we go ahead and get started. Okay. We conduct the meeting wholly electronically and to effectuate both the emergency procedures authorized by FOIA and the emergency ordinance. The Fairfax County Athletic Council makes certain findings and determinations for the record. It's a bit cumbersome, so I ask. First, because each member of the Fairfax County Athletic Council is participating in this meeting from a separate location, we must verify that a quorum of members is participating, that each member's voice is clear, audible, and appropriate volume for all the other members. Accordingly, I'm going to conduct a roll call and ask each member participating in this meeting to state your name and the location from which you are participating. I ask that each of you pay close attention to ensure that you hear each of your colleagues. Following this roll call, we will vote to establish that every member can hear every other member. Jason?
Yep. Good evening, everybody. Braddock District, Marsha Pape Daniels. Well, Braddock alternate, Mark O'Meara.
Yep, I'm here at the theater.
Thanks, Mark. Drainsville, Greg Beckwith.
I'm here on telephone from Dock, North Carolina.
Thanks, Greg. And alternate, Brian Lewis. Hunter Mill District, Jeremy Lee.
Present and accounted for, calling from Western Virginia.
Thank you, sir. And alternate, Harold Leff.
Present and accounted for in Vienna, heading towards Reston.
Thanks, Harold. Lee District, Lisa Mickey. Or alternate, Bill Bright.
Bill, are you on mute?
Yeah, I see him. We can't hear you, unfortunately. Mason District, Barbara Lowry.
I'm here in Mason District.
Thanks, Barbara. Mount Vernon, Lester Munson.
I am here calling in from the 14th Street Bridge.
Thanks, Lester. Providence District, Steve McLaughlin.
I'm still stuck in my basement here in the Providence District.
And Providence alternate, Kelly Egaloswala.
I am here from home.
Thank you. Springfield District, Mike Thompson.
Yes, sir. I'm here from Alexandria, Virginia.
And alternate, Mark Heilbrun. Sully District, Gary Flather.
Here from my home in Centerville.
Thanks, Gary. And Sully alternate, Mark Abbott. Diversity at large, Mark Fernandez. Or alternate, Eric Sohn. Member at large, Kathleen Quinn. Or alternate, Anne-Marie Swope.
Hi, I'm here calling in from Reston.
Thanks, Anne-Marie. Town of Clifton, Jeff Stein.
I'm here from my home in Clifton.
Thanks, Jeff. Town of Herndon, Roland Taylor. Town of Vienna, Sam Altoff. Baseball Council, Rob Hahn.
I'm here at South Lakes High School in the third base coaching box at a game.
Nice. Basketball Council, Steve Bergstrom. Or alternate, Stu Clark. Fast pitch softball, Susie Williamson.
I'm here at Falls Church High School getting ready to practice.
Thanks,
Go, Rob.
Alternate for fast pitch, Ryan Buchanan. Football Council, Mark Miena.
I'm here from Vienna, Virginia.
Thanks, Mark. Alternate, Ted Hollingsworth. Lacrosse Council, Marianne Wagner.
Yes, I am here from Great Falls.
And alternate, Dave Paddock. Slow pitch softball, Christine Idup. Soccer Council, Lula Bauer.
I'm here in my home in Alexandria.
And soccer alternate, Trish Moxie. Volleyball Council, Rob Bailey. And alternate, Anne-Marie Swope, still there. Women's sports, Jenny Cantwell. or alternate Hillary Richardson?
Hillary's here from her home office in Reston.
Thanks, Hillary. Fairfax County Park Authority, Mike Thompson still here?
Yes,
Kurt
I'm
Lewis?
still here.
Hi, this is Kurt. I'm here in my home in Fairfax.
Thanks, Kurt. Fairfax County School Board, Bill Curran?
I'm here from Royal Lake in Fairfax.
Thanks, Bill. Megan McLaughlin said she wouldn't be able to make it. She had a personal conflict. Vicki Garner or John Chapman, FCPS? Neighborhood and Community Services, Lloyd Tucker? Sarah Allen? Keisha Dodson?
Here from Centerville, Virginia.
And Karen Navisado? Mark Martino?
I'm here from my home.
All right, that's it, Lula. And we have a quorum.
Great, thank you so much. So at this point, I'm going to pass over the virtual gavel to Gary, Vice Chairman, so that I may be heard to make the requisite motions. I move that each member's voice may be adequately heard by each other's member of the Fairfax County Athletic Council.
Is there a second?
I second that. This is Barbara. I second it.
Any objections? Motion's approved.
Second, having established that each member's voice may be heard by every other member, we must next establish the nature of the emergency that compels these emergency procedures. The fact that we are meeting electronically, what type of electronic communication is being used, and how we have arranged the public access to this meeting. Therefore, I move that the state of emergency caused by COVID-19 pandemic makes it unsafe for the Fairfax County Athletic Council to physically assemble and unsafe for the public to physically attend any meeting, and that as such, FOIA's usual procedures, which require the physical assembly of Fairfax County Athletic Council in the presence of the public, cannot be implemented safely or practically. I further move that the Fairfax County Athletic Council may conduct this meeting electronically via Microsoft Teams, and that the public may access this meeting by calling 1-571-429-5982, United States, Arlington.
Second the motion.
Any objections? The motion is approved.
Finally, it is next required that all the matters addressed on today's agenda must be addressed the emergency itself and necessary for continuity of Fairfax County government, and that are statutorily required or necessary to continue operation and the District of Fairfax County Athletic Council lawful purposes, duties, and responsibilities.
And a second? Anyone?
Sure, Mike Thompson seconds.
Mike Thompson seconds. Any objections? Motion is approved, and pass the gavel back to Lula.
Oh, thank you so much. So, are there any citizens that are here that would like to address the council? I have somebody raising their hand.
Yes, looks like Shari Clifford.
Hi, good evening. Can you guys hear me okay?
We're getting an echo.
All right, are you still able to hear me? I'm having to dial in through the phone, so I didn't know I'm having technical issues. If I'm okay to get started then? Yes?
There's a really bad echo.
Okay.
You need to turn your speaker off on your computer.
Ooh. I think you got it.
Yep.
All right, can you hear me now?
We can hear you, but
Okay. All right, thanks guys. Thanks for providing me the opportunity to address you. I am the proud parent of two SYA baseball players, one of which has entered into his first season of Babe Ruth League play this fall. As you know, construction of Patriot Park North off of Braddock Road is in progress. And I am just as excited as you to see those new fields put to use in a year or two. I know that will make your job so much easier to have more fields to work with. However, in the interim, the construction has impacted field availability for SYA baseball teams who have been given almost exclusive use of the fields for league practices and games. The pain is definitely felt most acutely in the loss of the 90-foot diamond. Since SYA has historically been permitted use of that diamond, teams were able to schedule practice and play 7 nights a week. And this is in conjunction with partial use of Eleanor C. Lawrence's 90-foot diamond a few nights a week. According to my conversation with SYA's Babe Ruth commissioner for the fall season, SYA was allotted only 2 nights on the Eleanor C. Lawrence 90-foot diamond, as well as 1 evening and Saturdays on the Centerville High School baseball field. That's 3 evenings and a Saturday of field space for 5 baseball teams to share. As a result, SYA Babe Ruth was unable to schedule any practices for the fall season. That's no practices. For someone like my son who is spending his first season on a 90-foot diamond and getting used to new rules and strategies, this has been completely detrimental to his development. He has no opportunity to get the reps and drills that would help him develop at this level. His team has really struggled to be competitive against other teams in ways that having the ability to practice could fix. Putting it plainly, it just stinks that these kids don't get to practice, and my son really misses it. I understand what a mountainous task it is for your committee to schedule the various leagues for field use for every season. I'm aware there's never enough space for all the need that's out there. I'm also aware that you have to follow a very specific formula in determining field allocations for both practices and games. However, I'm hoping that you can fix this very serious imbalance of field access for SYA players. Allocating just 1 night of field use to SYA from 1 or 2 other neighboring organizations' fields would help to spread the burden of this field loss situation. Maybe permitting and reserving the use of adult softball fields for practice-only uses would at least allow players to practice fielding drills. Scheduling 2 teams to practice at the same time on the same field could work in a clinic-style format. I apologize if these suggestions of certain guidelines, or they're ignorant of certain guidelines or taboos that I'm not aware of. The bottom line is I'm just a mom, and I see my kid and his teammates really hurting for practice, and I'm just trying to do what I can help. I'm really grateful for your time and consideration, and I thank you in advance for any help you can provide.
Lula, you're muted.
Thank you for that, Sherry. Thank you for sharing your concerns. Does anybody have anything that they would like to share?
This is Mark Martino. I'm with NCF. We're with the scheduling committee, and I can certainly go back and take a look and talk to. I know Gary's there from SYA. We can. This is the first we've heard, at least from our end, about issues. Unless Gary, I missed something. But we will certainly go back, and we can certainly take a look and see what the allegations, because we allocate the space to SYA, so we can certainly go back and take a look at it.
Yeah, I'll add in that Sherry, Jeff Stein and myself are both with the board on SYA, and we will go back with Tony Hemmelwright and with Bob Woodruff and see what's going on. It was our understanding that we were sufficient in the fall. We knew that the spring was going to be a problem, but I was unaware that there was an issue where you had no practices. Is that what I heard you say? Okay.
That is correct. And I actually, before even coming to you guys, I've had conversations with both Tony and Bob, and they both told me to come talk to you.
Gary, I'll wait to hear from you, Gary. You can reach out to us in the office. Okay.
All right. And we'll follow up with you, Sherry.
Rob, it looks like
Rob.
If I
could jump in. First, I've heard of all this as well. Certainly could have been solved right when we heard about it. Unfortunately, sounds like we're all hearing about it right now. So if there's still a couple weeks left, we can certainly make some adjustments to fix that. But and I'm sure Bob and others can give you how the allocation process works. But everybody has sufficient capability to make their request and work from the systems that Andrew Buffington assigns those fields. So that's it. Again, first I've heard of this at all. So thank you. So thank you for bringing it to our attention.
I really appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Sorry about that.
Thank you. Next on the agenda, I'm not aware if there's any presentations, but are there any presentations to the council? No? So administratively, we'd like to approve the September 15th minutes.
Motion to approve the minutes?
Second.
Any discussion? So moved. I don't have any reports, but we do have, I believe one committee report, on sports tourism. Would that be Gary?
Yes, I can speak to that, and Mike Thompson can probably chime in as well. So there's two issues on the task force that I'll discuss briefly. One is the task force meeting that was held on September 15th, and the second is on the pilot test. First on the task force, just going through a summary of some of the things that were discussed at the meeting. Alpine X, which is the indoor ski slope that we've talked about a few times. It has been approved. I don't know if anybody saw Pat Harity's Facebook post. It has moved forward. I'm sure Mike can give us a little bit more detail on that, but it's pretty exciting news on sports tourism front. It will be the largest indoor ski slope, from what I understand, in the world, at least in the United States. So it's pretty exciting over there at the old Lorton Reformatory site. Visit Fairfax gave a presentation. Eric Kolchinsky and company gave a presentation. Things are going well with them. They're creating a multi-county program for sports tourism, trying to garner more sports tourism activity through Visit Fairfax. That seems to be going well. Patriot Park North, as we've heard, is going well. Construction has started. Water line on the Willow Springs Road has been completed, and the groundwork is being done now. I go by there probably once a week, and I take a look at the activities going on, but they're making good progress. Just as a reminder, the game plan is to have the two 60-foot diamonds and half of the parking lot completed by August 22nd. Or I'm sorry, August of 2022, which will enable the use of the two 60-foot diamonds for the fall. So while we are without the fields at SYA in this fall and next spring, at least for the younger kids at the 60-foot level for baseball and softball, they'll have the fields back hopefully in August, knock on wood. The complete project should be done in 2023. Pat Harity mentioned that he would like to have a subcommittee to look at the holiday weekend scheduling, to include the FCPS school sites and fields. I think Bill Curran, myself, Mike, and several others would be on that subcommittee to see what we can do about that. He also talked about the next step in the task force is to put together the right team for governance and direction. There wasn't a lot of discussion on that, but that's the next step in the process, is figure out how to manage the the scheduling of tournament locations, such as the Patriot Park North that's going in. They also mentioned that FCPA, and Mike can probably talk to this, has a MOU with the Washington Capitals for an inline roller skating facility at Lake Fairfax. Sounds pretty exciting. They didn't have any details at the meeting, but that certainly sounds pretty exciting. The next thing is the pilot test. We have made it through 2 holiday weekends, the Labor Day and the Columbus Day. I'm still working with Mark Martino and his staff on a couple of clarifications on some of the survey questions that went out. The survey questions, basically, one is to find out what type of response, what kind of a respondent you are, whether you're a user or a tournament director. Just to summarize the 7 questions that are out there, one question is if the pilot negatively affected you and your organization. Another question is, did your program actually participate in the tournament for that weekend? If you needed additional space due to the pilot test, and if you needed space where you accommodated with other space. And then one question for the county, which is how likely are you to use Fairfax County for your next tournament? And then there's an open question for suggestions. We had 9 respondents for the Labor Day, and we had 9 respondents for the Columbus Day tournament. I don't have details yet because I'm still working with Mark, as I said, to get. Sorry, guys. The dog just walked in front of the house, and my dog has to protect me. So we do have some clarifications, but for the most part, I would say that the overwhelming response of the users, not the tournament directors, but of the users, was positive. That they were accommodated and that NCS did their best to shift space to them. But like I said, I think our next meeting, I'll have more details. I went back to Mark and Lori Barb and a few others to get some more details on the survey. Sorry, I don't have more details than that, but that's kind of a general of the survey. And then the next holiday will not be until Memorial Day. That'll certainly be a big one, I'm sure. But I'll get some clarification for you and have that available at the next meeting. So if anybody has any questions on either, either myself or Mike can probably answer. I see a couple hands up.
Yeah, Steve and Rob, looks like you guys have a.
I'll let someone else go first.
Jason, who else has their hand up?
Rob, was that from before, or do you have a question?
That might be an old hand, and he's probably back in the dugout.
Sorry, old hand, and I'm on the coaching box. I will fix it. Sorry, my fault.
Oh, no worries. Looks like it's used to you.
Yeah, okay. I didn't have a question for Gary. I appreciate the work he's doing. I was just going to do a brief report out on the Diamond Field thing. So I waited just a little pause there. There weren't any other questions, so I'll go ahead and do that if you don't mind. I sent out, and thank you, Jason, with the minutes and everything, reminded me of the things I'm supposed to do for Bill. I put some questions together and sent them out before the meeting. So I just wanted to heads up to Bill and Rob Honey and Susie and others about what are the issues with Diamond Field maintenance, what documentation do we have, and for Mark and NCS, if we can just pull together some sample MOUs or policy documents so I have a structure to work off of. I'm happy to start populating a template with issues and then start talking to people about them. So take a look at your email. If you have any comments on the questions that I sent out, please respond. And I think, Mark, we need to make sure that we've got all of the stakeholders involved. There may be people not on council that we would want to contact, but I leave that up to like Bill and Rob should know better than I. Thank you.
Yeah, my thought, and Steve, you and I'll talk about MOUs. I can get to you. Yeah, my thought, this is definitely an issue, but and Bill, I think you probably need to weigh in between FCPA and FCPS in terms of the maintenance portion of it. You know, for us as a scheduling entity, it's more about your maintenance issues and what you have going there.
And in reality, this should be pretty simple. We've been doing this for over a decade. It's just a matter of putting it down on paper so it's clear and concise, and we all know kind of what the lanes are and guidelines are and move it forward. So I can answer most of your questions.
Okay.
Just got the emails. Can't do it this second, but certainly can do it.
Thanks.
And then
I have none of, yeah, I have none of the institutional knowledge, but I know how to put things down on paper. So I think between the two of us, we can get this done. Thank you.
Sweet. Very good. Thank you. I don't think there's any more hands raised. So let's move right along to the reports by the sports reps.
Lula, I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt. I think we were supposed to at least have there was supposed to be like and Gary, maybe you were involved in this, the NCS/FCPS Communications Committee.
Yes, I have not called I was going to address it at the end.
Okay, we can do that.
Brought it up. I've not had a meeting yet. I in my notes, I could not remember who had quote unquote raised their hand to assist me with it. I know Rob Honey had, and I believe Mark Abbott had, and I thought there was one or two others, maybe Mike Thompson. I just can't remember who else was going to help. And I know Vicki Gardner had said she would be involved, and I think Bill said, I can't remember, Bill, if you were going to be involved. I know that's Vicki's role, but you go to so many of these meetings, I think it would be useful to have you involved.
Happy to attend and be part of it.
And hi, this is Anne Marie. Hello. I'm sorry, I'm on my phone. Can you guys hear?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay, sorry, I can't raise my hand on my phone. I don't know how to use the thing on the phone. So this is Anne Marie Swope. I'm an at-large, but also volleyball. But I wasn't on the last meeting, but I'd be more than happy to jump on and help in any way I can with that committee on communication. My background is in marketing and communications. So if you need another hand, I'll be more than happy to help.
Okay.
Sign her up.
Gary, this was the committee about communication between the entities, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Ready to move on? Perfect. Reports by the sports reps. Jason?
Yep. First one is Baseball Council. Rob?
Yes. Baseball's got about a couple more weeks to use. We're the first weekend in November or so, and then some tryouts after that. We actually, back to the initial report we heard tonight, as Gary knows, we have an SYA meeting tomorrow night, so I can review some of those things in terms of concerns with allocations with SYA Babe Ruth at that meeting tomorrow night. Gary, Bob, and I have been meeting occasionally about Patriot Park North as well, but getting ready to wrap up the fall baseball season here in the next couple of weeks. That's all I have.
Thanks, Rob. I don't believe anyone from basketball is on. Fast pitch, Susie?
We'll be kind of having some interesting conversations with the Title IX, Falls Church High School, Louise Archer, Madison, and South Lakes were part of a Title IX thing early, let's say late 1990s. With the school renovations, there's going to be approximately 4 softball fields at these complexes that were critical for the girls softball to actually have the proper facility. So we'll be starting some discussions shortly, Mr. Curran, and other like Park Authority people, what we can do, because it's really kiboshed our ability to hold tournaments, There's really no complex for girls softball except for Wakefield Park, which is shared with the adults. And really there's only 3 softball fields there. So that's on the horizon. The weather's been pretty good. Things are going well otherwise. So there it is from the softball world.
Thanks, Susie. Football Council, Mark?
Yes, on the youth football side, they're 3/4 of the way through the season. Issues are minimal, consistent with youth sports, so that's okay. Major concern has come up as far, and in all sports, I'm sure share this, but with the effect on officials COVID has had with not only the senior officials, but more importantly at the grassroots level in the recruitment of new officials, which all converts to scheduling and the shortness there. So that's just an observation from the football side, but it's a problem that is going to hawk everybody as time goes on, more so than it ever has historically. One item that did come up, we have several parents from 2 organizations that are asking the park authority and the school system as well on specific programs to sanitize equipment outside on the fields, i.e. goalposts, fence, gates, entrances, and all of that. Rather than me venture out on what I think the issue is, I want to know, number one, are there any formal programs that we are aware of on the park authority side and on the school side, or what would be the best answer to forward back to these individuals?
I would say on the park authority side, we are not, there is no plan or isn't any current process for doing that.
And let me ask, they were asking what has been done since the beginning, which I think is linked to what you just said as well.
Correct.
So I can tell you from the school side, working with the health department and looking at, the other operations side of it, it ultimately comes down to the fact that the sun itself is going to be the best disinfectant. These aren't surfaces that are typically going to carry, and that's how it was reported to us, and don't need a constant cleaning and a protocol that goes with cleaning. Last year we were cleaning everything, and we were told these were, I can't say that it was explicitly, but it was definitely conversations of what else do we need to look at? Do we need to look at these exterior surfaces, right down to, do we need to wipe down, sideline benches? And we were told, a day of sun is as good as anything else you're going to get on it, and keep it moving.
Okay, I just want to make sure that that answers from all the entities are congruent with what is best practices and what's out there. It hasn't come up, but everybody's exposure is everywhere they walk, talk, look, see, read for the last 2 years. So I will respond back with that, and I'm not sure where where it'll go, if anywhere. It's not a high pressure comment or complaint. It was just an inquiry. So
yeah, I think FCPA is following the health department's guidelines. Anything that comes from the health department, we're following those guidelines, which there is none right now, other than cleaning restrooms.
Okay.
Yeah,
all right.
This is Robert. Sorry. Go ahead.
As
if I could
Fairfax
just add
County,
one thing to Mark. Yeah. I'm sorry if I'm talking over somebody. To add to what Mark said, we are experiencing a severe shortage of umpires throughout all levels of play, including high school. Bill probably knows this. I mean, we couldn't reschedule high school baseball games last spring for days because we had to wait for umpires to be available. So we're trying to be proactive and help, but it's definitely affecting baseball in a big way. I just wanted to add to that because it reminded me. Thank you, Mark.
Okay. All right, I'm done.
All right. Next, Lacrosse Council, Marianne. Oh, wait, Mark Martino.
Just to kind of tie in on that, I think what will happen, and Bill, you may be able to weigh in, if the basketball officials are going to have the same issues, then and games get moved from their normal Friday to all of a sudden they have to be on Saturday because you have to have officials to cover. That again then works into the youth usage of gyms. Does that make sense? Am I making sense what I'm saying there?
Yep.
So I don't know what's happening with basketball officials, but just understand, as Mark Miena has said, as Rob has said, if they're having a lack of officials and they can't run all of their games on the normal nights, those games for the high schools can be pushed to different nights, either of the week or weekends, which then could affect our community use.
I can tell you right now from the basketball, I mean, we're seeing the exact same thing across the board with high school officials. Your normal football games are covering at 4 officials right now, and we were running 7 officials at one point. So that's tough, and we are moving high school football games consistently. Certainly the same for every sport when you get down to it. Basketball, we're meeting. We have a meeting with the Basketball Officials Association tomorrow to talk about this. So I don't know exactly where they stand. I do know they are short on officials. I do know no different than we've had to do before at the beginning of the year, each year, the new year. So in January, we've had to start to alternate from the typical Tuesday, Friday to the Monday, Thursday schedule through each district. And there's no question that's going to be consistent this year as well. So that normal part's going to happen. I just don't know how deep it's going to go. We won't know until tomorrow afternoon.
Can I chime in? This is Mark again. One more comment about this subject. I think that maybe the Athletic Council and Fairfax County Neighborhood and Community Service ought to think about promoting a forum of all sports officials. Get the heads of all of them in there, as many as they can, and to discuss where the future lies and what everybody can do to promote it. It can only get better. It certainly can't get any worse. But if there's any subject where anybody that sits around on this council could get together on and go in one direction, this would be it. And I think it would pay dividends. From how you grow officials from the youth side that do T-ball games and stuff like that, to how you grow them into the actual high school officials as well. That's could be time well spent and jumpstart, because we just heard from Bill on the basketball and Mark and other things. It's not going to go away. So despite all the great facilities we may have or come, an effort, and I'm talking about a effort, unified, county pushed direction to be an official of some sport. Hopefully they'll overlap into other sports as well, but it could be an idea that minds greater than mine could explore and try to market to the benefit of everyone going. It's a long-term investment, but it may be worth a try. But I'll leave that to the wizards to decide if that's time well spent. That's all.
This is Gary Flather. I would support that 100%. I think that's a great idea, Mark.
Love the idea, Mark. This is Rob. Great idea.
All right.
Jason?
Lacrosse Council, Marianne.
I don't have anything to report. We're winding down our season and things are going well.
Right.
Relatively.
Soccer Council, Lula.
Sure. So first, kudos to the field monitors. They are so quick to answer the phones and they're so quick to find solutions. They've been absolutely amazing. All of them have been so amazing, and they respond so quickly. Soccer is experiencing, just like everyone else, a huge referee shortage. I really like your idea, Mark, and I would be happy to be a part of it. Maybe think of a way that we can all come together for soccer. The main shortage is because during COVID with soccer, every organization, every region runs a certification, referee certification course, and then we run the recertification courses. So the referees in soccer are certified. And I'm familiar with basketball as well. They don't have those type of certifications, but it doesn't mean there's not a shortage. So because of COVID for over a year, there hasn't been those classes. There haven't been those certifications. Then on top of that, those that are just certainly fearful because of COVID and their situation, it's caused a double whammy. Right now, soccer is looking to find ways to market and get the certification courses up and running. And, of course, they're finding all these creative ways to do it, bonuses, pay for your kits, this, that, and the other. But NCSL, which is one of the largest leagues here in Fairfax County, they're short about 100 and some odd referees. I've never seen it in my lifetime, the shortage. So basketball, just like all the other sports, are suffering a huge shortage for a lot of different reasons. And I think collectively, listening to everybody, it's probably because COVID that whole year, they didn't have the ability to bring in new referees. So I would be happy, Mark, to give you a call to talk about, what some ideas of what we can do as a county and as an athletic council collectively. So that's all for soccer.
Right. Next is Volleyball Council, Rob Bailey or Anne Marie.
Not sure Rob is on the phone, and I did not get an update, so I'm just going to say nothing for now. Maybe no news is good news.
All right, no worries. I think that's it, Lula.
Okay, perfect. Thank you all so much. Matters of interest from the governing bodies, school board, Mike? Bill, sorry, sorry.
This is Bill. Hey, I don't know.
Sorry.
That's a compliment. I don't know where to go with that. Which, it depends on which Mike on this group we're talking about. Most are good. If we're talking Thompson, I might take that.
I know, sorry. I had my...
I'm just playing. I really like Mike Thompson. Great guy, very handsome. He's very smart.
I got a beard. That's all that matters.
So, honestly, we spent a huge amount of time since our last meeting, really going around how we're rolling out for the winter season with regards to the vaccination requirement that all winter athletes are vaccinated. The exceptions to that are anyone that's 15 or younger, because the vaccines are not fully approved yet at this time for 15 and younger. So they are not required to do that, although we are asking for, if they have that status, asking that for that. And for those that are 16 and older, they can apply for a religious waiver, religious exemption, or a medical exemption. Excuse me. Just signed on, the county, the division just signed on with the contracting group, LSI, that will be performing the surveillance testing. So for those that are not vaccinated, that have a waiver or are 15 and under, we'll test them on a weekly basis, those student athletes on a weekly basis. So that company has just come on board and was just signed yesterday. That was announced at the school board work session. So still an awful lot of questions on how that process is going to work, but we're narrowing it down. It's pretty much all we do these days, I think, is related to that, but it's rolling pretty well. And we'll have that nailed down and meet with the DSAs tomorrow to go over a good part of that process and how we will work it. Our hope is, and our belief is, based on our numbers that from the health department, that the majority of our students and student athletes are currently fully vaccinated, and therefore we're talking about a smaller portion of athletes at this time. As far as the fall season goes, obviously we're getting to the back third. We have cheerleading competitions going tonight. They've been going on for the last 2 weeks. So we have a region competition this evening. All through the next week and a half, we're winding down football. The PowerPoints, excuse me, from the Virginia High School League have just been released. Yet they're going to change all over the place in the next week. So stay tuned, for that as far as where everything stands. But overall, our fall season has gone very, very well. We have our last data point, which was last week. We were less than 1%, than 1% of our athletes had contracted or had COVID cases thus far through the fall. So that's a pretty telling number that things are working well for right now. So we're excited to get the winter going, but also cautiously optimistic. And Susie, I can tell you there's no issue at Falls Church. Those fields aren't getting touched at Falls Church. The others we're still working on, but Falls Church is not on the table.
Gary, you got your hand raised.
Excuse me. Yes, Bill, can you repeat? You said FCPS just contracted with LSI to do what?
Sorry, I'm sitting outside because people are practicing and I swallowed a bug. Probably just me at this point. So LSI is contracted to do the COVID testing. So our athletes who are not vaccinated, who are not currently vaccinated, and either have an exemption or are 15 and under, will go through a weekly testing protocol where they'll receive a regular antigen test, that'll return back a result in 15 minutes, just from a surveillance standpoint to see where we stand.
Gotcha.
And to help contain any outbreak.
Yep, that makes sense. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Bill. Park
Also
Authority.
To show you, Lula, soccer's
Yeah?
still going on.
Wow.
And Rob Honey, there's 60-foot baseball still going on. I don't know if you can see what I showed you, but it's crazy.
Bonus. I'd like to be where you are. Park Authority.
I have nothing for the group tonight.
Very good. Thank you. Nate.
I would like to, I know we announced that she's there, but Jay Cole, the new executive director, is now on the job. She's in place. In her first about 2 weeks, one of the things she's trying to do is she was going to visit every park. In her first 2 weeks, she had already visited over 45 different parks. And she goes throughout the community visiting parks and all that kind of stuff. But our new executive director is on board. I think last time I announced that we had hired her, but she has started in the job. She is in the job and is actively engaged. So I know at some point she will come to the athletic council, maybe even at some point when we're all in person and can see each other when we're in 3D and not just in 2D. But I just want to let everybody know that she is in place and doing stuff. And also, just as a side note, it's a horrible. We always want to make sure we're finding more refs and all that kind of stuff. But it's nice to have the problem that we have enough games going on that we need more refs. Unlike several months ago when we were all struggling to see if we were able to get kids out and play. So congratulations to everybody on getting the programs going and getting all those kids out and playing.
Good stuff. Thank you, Mike. NCS.
Good evening. Yeah. Continuing with our fall season, fields and gyms, we've had, obviously some hiccups along the way, just in terms of scheduling and stuff like that. But I think it's gone. I think there are more positive things than negatives, which I think is really good. We're starting getting the winter gyms and fields aligned and assigned. They should be out hopefully within about a week. Just a reminder and that to make sure you're getting these messages back to those people that we don't issue permits until, like for the winter, until the fall is paid up. So make sure rosters are turned in, invoices are paid, and then we'll get those permits out to you. Not a whole lot else. I know we have police that are out there still. We have our police and school security that are out along with our monitors until I think mid-November. And I know it's getting darker sooner, so we have issues out with fields that don't have lights, but I think for the most part it's gone really well. Our schedulers have worked extremely hard to make adjustments. We're working as best we can with the schools as they utilize different facilities and different fields, and they ask for gym space in a lot of different places, and that kind of cuts into community use time. So we're doing our best to try to make adjustments, but you may see cancellations in schools just based on what the schools need. So just understand we're still working with them on that. So that's it from the NCS side.
Hey, Mark, this is Yep, sorry, Mark, I got a lot of questions tonight. Apologies to everybody, but is there going to be an indoor policy that needs to be signed off by community users, specifically talking about whether masks are required or not?
I know we did the one for the fall that was sent out, and we will make any adjustments. I think we wait just to see if there's any new direction from the health department. But my gut, and I don't want to speak out of turn here, but my gut is there will probably be something that will go out to be signed for indoor users specifically.
Yeah, that's what I'm referencing. My basketball and volleyball and others are asking if they're, if we have a policy yet on what the mask mandate will be indoors.
At this point, I don't see a change from what it is in the fall, unless we get direction to go otherwise. But that policy will go out. We will probably get it out with the permits as they go out, so that it can be signed and turned back in. And obviously, if there's, if some kind of great change comes about, we would make an adjustment. But I don't foresee anything as of right now, anything different than the policy that we have for the fall for our community users.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate that. Moving right along. Any new business?
Yeah, Lula, one quick thing. I think I probably say this every October, but I think it's especially important to remember that we have a lot of folks in our communities that are not necessarily as lucky as some others. They may be struggling on any number of levels. As we go into the holiday season, the athletic organizations have some of the best email lists. They have some of the best community engagement of any organizations in the county. I just encourage them to think about partnering with NCS on food drives or any of the other programs, so that we can continue to help the community get through the holiday period that's about to be upon us.
Very good point. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Any other new business? Old business? Nothing?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Third.
So moved. Thank you very much, guys. Great.
Thank you.
See ya.
Thanks, Lula.
Thank you. Bye.